Hey guys, Faith Lane here today, and I wanted to take a minute to make a video about my OCD and how it affects my gaming. So I was diagnosed with OCD back in 2025, and at first I was kind of in denial. I knew I had OCD and I knew that I had like obsessive traits and different traits of OCD, but I kind of thought that I had more going on because I didn't fully understand how my OCD worked and what it did to me, I guess you would say, or like how it affected me, let's say that. And after I learned more about it, I learned that OCD really does impact your personality and who you are and how your brain works a lot. But I will say, just because you have some sort of mental thing going on or a disability or anything like that, it doesn't change who you are. Having OCD, it puts fear-mongering thoughts in your head, intrusive thoughts in your head, and makes you question your reality in so many different ways. And something that really helps me is that the quote of just being like, just because you think it doesn't mean that it's true. Just because you think something might be sinful if you have religious OCD, it does not mean it's sinful just because you thought of it, and just because your OCD is making you panic about it. But I have noticed, especially over the past few months, how much having OCD actually affects the way that I play video games. And this is something that I feel is not talked about much because, one, OCD, and especially religious OCD, is not talked about a lot on at least TikTok platforms that I have seen. And also, a lot of people really don't talk about mental health and gaming in a whole, and I feel like that's something that needs to be discussed more. So when I'm playing games, I realize just how obsessive my mind gets about it. And this is something that makes me feel sinful because I know that I shouldn't obsess over something, but I also have to acknowledge Jesus knows that this is just how my brain works. And I need to always practice not making it an idol and putting Jesus first, obviously, and reading my Bible and praying to him. But also, if I do obsess over something for a short period of time, it doesn't mean I made it an idol, and doesn't mean that I'm being sinful. We can have things in our lives that we enjoy doing, hobbies, and indulging in things, and there's even verses like this one that also say that we can do that. The thing is, we can't obsess over it to where it's all we think about and all that we do, because then that becomes an idol. However, we also have OCD, which makes it a little bit difficult. But what I mean by this is sometimes I get really hyperfixated on a game, and the thing that I love about games the most is collecting things or decorating. But the main thing I love doing is collecting. So sometimes I get hyperfixated on playing for a long period of time to try and get that thing that I'm getting, like trying to get. And sometimes that could be with like battle passes, limited time rewards, all kinds of stuff like that. But it's like one of my hyper fixations that I love. I just love being able to decorate my area, like say in Fallout, my camp, and have all the different kinds of things that I've collected and showcase them and like give people ideas of like, hey, what kind of stuff can I get in this game? But obviously I know like these things that we collect up don't mean much for our eternal life, obviously, but for the time that I am here on earth, I do want to indulge in it and enjoy it. But then also another way that my OCD affects my gameplay is I'm obsessing over everything in the game. My brain constantly has black and white thinking and also obsession. And with that being part of my problem, sometimes when I start a new game, such as Fallout, which I started just a month ago, I get hyper focused in starting it, and as soon as like say I enter a room and I have to loot that room before I can move on to the next area, I panic. What if I don't get everything in the room and don't loot every single thing? Because what if I miss an important object? Maybe a tool I need to do a certain task later, take apart a certain armor, open up a door or something, anything. I miss that screwdriver and it messes up my whole gameplay. And then I have to restart the whole game because I don't have that screwdriver and I can't go back and make another one. Or what if I miss a key that you need later on to go into a certain door, and what if there's something behind that door I end up wanting that I can't get later because I didn't get that key, and then I can't go back to that certain area. These are just a few small ways that OCD affects my gaming time. And I really do want to make a few more videos like this, just spreading awareness about it and hopefully helping other people, because OCD is something that affects a lot of my life. However, I don't want to bog down my TikTok with everything being about OCD either, because I don't want my channel and the platform that I'm creating to become too heavy for people. Because I want to make a positive community that can be an impact for people not to feel alone, for people to have a positive place to come to learn about positivity, you know, being creative, hopefully learning about Jesus and different things like that. But I did want to make a video like this just to spread awareness. Like, if you feel these ways, especially when you're playing games or indulging in your own hobby, like, you're not alone. And especially if you have religious OCD as well, like, you are not alone. These are things that we go through, and we have to remember that Jesus knows who we are. Jesus can see us for who we are without our mental illness. We might can't see ourselves that way, but Jesus does. So thank you guys so much for sticking around for this video. And yeah, if you have anything you want me to answer about OCD or video games, please leave them down in the comments below.